Three, two, one, action. Welcome back to episode 31 of As Seen on Screen. I'm Nicole.
I'm Gracie, and we're your source for entertainment news, reviews, interviews, and more.
You can find us wherever you get your podcasts on Spotify and YouTube. Well, welcome back to another episode. Thank you so much for coming back and joining us this week. We have tons of casting announcements specifically to talk about today, and lots of fun news kind of stemming from the football world, a lot of it. So let's jump right into it. What is our first casting announcement of the day, Gracie?
This one I am so excited for. Didn't even know this was a thing until they did the casting announcement. So, the book Shiver, if you don't know what it is, Shiver is a book that follows Grace, who watches wolves in the woods behind her house, and she sees a yellow-eyed wolf and basically becomes very into this thing. She's like, this is so weird that this wolf is always here. But he becomes a presence she can't live without. And she figures out this wolf is actually a guy. So got a little bit of
Damn.
wolves in there. But yeah, they're making it a film. So this stars Sophia Wiley, Aman Vellani, Leon Daniels, Alexander Ludwig, Ross Butler, Alicia Witt, and Greg Kinnear. And honestly, I'm so excited for this. I was a huge fan of this book, and I'm so excited, well, this series, and I'm so excited to see this come to life because I've had so many like imaginations of it growing up. And Anna Todd is an executive producer on it, I believe, who actually created After. So my two faves are coming in together because for those of you who don't know, I'm a huge fan of After. So I'm excited to see what they create.
Your two worlds are colliding.
I know. I literally was like freaking out when I saw this. I was like, oh, this is great. This is fantastic. I've waited like 14 years for this.
Well, in other news, anyone who's fan of Disney Plus's Percy Jackson and the Olympians, they have a casting update. Following the death of Lance Reddick in 2023, he was Zeus in the first season. They have recast his character, and Courtney B. Vance is now taking on the role of Zeus in the upcoming season. There's no release date yet for that next season, but stay tuned. I'm sure for more information will be coming out soon.
More casting updates. One that we've talked about quite a bit on this podcast, actually. Christopher Nolan's untitled feature film adds another cast member. So previously, I feel like we've added a new cast member every week, but Zendaya, Tom Holland, Matt Damon, Robert Pattinson, Anne Hathaway, and Lupita Nyong'o have been cast for this film. And just recently, Charlize Theron is now added to that. So I'm excited for this. It keeps getting stacked and stacked and stacked. So hopefully it's not like Megalopolis where there's all these huge stars and then everyone just gets disappointed. No hate to Megalopolis, but that did seem like a very common factor that everybody was like, oh, this cast is huge. And then we got it, and everybody was like, never mind, take it back.
Retract, retract. In other casting news, something I believe you talked about once as well when this news first came out of one of the casting updates originally, but Voltron, the live action film that has now landed at Amazon MGM Studios. Apparently, according to Screen Rant, there was a big bidding war between Amazon, Universal, Netflix, so they landed with Amazon MGM Studios. It was previously announced that Henry Cavill is set to star in the film, but now we have a casting update with tons of casting updates, including Sterling K. Brown, Rita Ora, John Kim, Alba Baptist, Daniel Quintoy, Samson Kao, and Tharanya Tharan. So obviously this is a huge cast as well for this movie. I feel like this is a common thread today. We just have so many great actors coming together for these films. So that as well, I don't believe has a release date yet at the moment. So we'll just have to wait to see as more news comes out about it.
Finally, moving into music news, Lana Del Rey has announced her new album, which will be her 10th studio album, The Right Person Will Stay, which is set to release next year on May 21st. Obviously, I'm thinking with the title, it's about her new husband. So I'm excited to see some love in this album, but I feel like it'll still be normal Lana Del Rey vibes. Yeah.
Well, moving into more music news, The Weeknd set Hurry Up Tomorrow, his upcoming album, not the film, the album, release date for January 4th, 2025. So, if you don't know anything about either of these, basically The Weeknd is working on a film directed by Trey Edwards. It is for his first starring role in a film. It was actually inspired by this upcoming album. So he's going to be starring in this thriller film. We don't have a release date for that at all yet, but this album is coming out on January 24th. The next day after this is released, so on January 25th, he's planned to debut his new work with a one night only concert he's performing at the Rose Bowl. So we'll see what he brings out for that. I wonder if it'll be anything like his Super Bowl set from a few years ago. I mean, obviously, the Rose Bowl does not have the capacity to do such a large, I mean, it's still a massive performance, but it's not on the scale of the Super Bowl. So we will see what happens with that.
Honestly, I don't know. A lot of celebrities and artists now have been doing these one night only type concerts, and as great as an idea as it is, it sucks because like most of them go on Ticketmaster, and as we all know, Ticketmaster is not a fun place to get tickets. So it kind of sucks for majority of the fans for only having one night, but it also does make it special for the fans that are able to go. So I'm excited to see what he creates. Moving on to sports news that we were talking about earlier. Hailee Steinfeld and Josh Allen are officially engaged as of November 22nd, 2024. They kept it quiet for like a week actually, because I believe it happened on his bye week. So congrats to them. The post that they did share was super cute and it was met with lots and lots of comments from other celebrities just congratulating them. But my favorite comment that I had to have seen on all of their posts is I just watched a man fall to his knees in a Walmart or something because Josh Allen is so beloved as a Buffalo Bill. So everybody in Buffalo is just crying over this. And even some men are crying over Hailee Steinfeld, but mostly men crying over Josh Allen. And I think that's so funny because like they're doing it in a respectful way where they're like, congratulations, but and I just think I think it's so great. I love that whole fan.
One of our close family friends, they're big Buffalo Bills fans, and she loves Josh Allen, and she posted on her Instagram story the day that they announced their engagement, and it was something just like, I lost the war or something like that. But go, Haley.
My mom is a huge Buffalo Bills fan, and like we were watching TV, and all of a sudden she's like, "Josh Allen's engaged." I was like, "Whoa, how did you find that out before me?" Like, hello.
I honestly think it's so funny how quiet they kept like their whole relationship because so many people in that comment section were like, they're dating, and like they've been photographed together so
Yeah.
many times. But people are very respectful, I think, about their relationship because they've made a point to keep it very quiet, and I think the media and other people in general have just kept it very quiet as well, even when they have been seen out, which I think is awesome and very respectful of them if that's what they would like. So. I think it's just very exciting, and it's so beautiful where he proposed, like the whole setup he had. Gorgeous. Take notes. Anyone, take notes.
Yeah, moving on, continuing with the sports news. What do we have next, Nicole?
Yeah, the Kelsey family is never quiet on our podcast. They always have something, we always have something to share about them. So, Kylie Kelsey, wife of Jason Kelsey, just recently announced that she is starting her own podcast called Not Gonna Lie with Kylie Kelsey. And it is coming out December 5th. It is coming out today. The first episode is out. I think this is very funny and exciting. I loved the trailer that she did. It's obviously talking a lot about, from what the trailer said, from what we know, lots of like parenting talk and lots of like tips and advice, I think that way, or not even that, more like stories I feel like she's talking about. And her whole thing was if everyone's going to talk about my family on the internet, might as well do it myself, which I think is very, very funny. Obviously, this is coming off the news from last week that we talked about that Jason Kelsey is getting his own late night show. So the Kelseys are just ramping it up in media and in talk shows and podcasts. Jason and Travis already have their own podcast. New Heights has been around for a few years now. Obviously, lots of popularity there, especially in the last year. So, very excited. Everyone always loves when Kylie hops on New Heights. People in the comment section are always like, we need Kylie's opinion on this. So, I think her own show will do very well.
Kylie is a girl's girl through and through, and I love her on New Heights whenever she comes on. So I'm excited to see and hear what she has to say, and props to her for, as someone who doesn't particularly love being in the limelight, having the balls to basically confront that her family is constantly talked about, so she'd rather set the record straight. So props to her for being a girl boss, and I can't wait to see what comes out of this show.
Okay, Gracie, you need to talk about this next part because it is with dismay that we bring it up. What are we talking about?
Jacob Elordi debuted his new look at the Marrakech Film Festival, and it has been met with 50-50, to be honest. Some people love it, some people hate it, but he has somehow, between the time we saw him at TIFF and now, grown a thick, thick beard. And like, this is a full beard, so I'm impressed. But like, I don't know, what do you think of it?
I don't love it. I don't think he's
Really?
horrible, but like I just prefer him without it. My sister loves it. I sent her the photo
I kind of love it.
and my sister was like, he's still hot. And I was like, okay, I'm looking at GQ right now and they have a photo of him side by side without the beard and with the beard. The beard is just it's not working for me. And like his hair is also so long. So like his
Mhm.
hair comes down and then his beard, also his beard is like significantly lighter brown than his hair. And it's just this is just not this is a problem. This no.
I kind of love it for him because it makes him look older. Like, yeah, I think he's trying to get out of like the teenage roles. And I think this definitely is one way to do it. Will I, it's not my favorite, but like I don't hate it. I think it's very like distinguished.
Do we think it's for a role? Like Wuthering
I
Heights? Do we
definitely think it's for a
or
role. I
yeah.
don't think he just decided one day, let me grow this beard.
No, oh, well, unless it's for Euphoria too, because Euphoria starts filming in a
That's
month.
true.
Over a
That's
month.
true. And there is a time jump in that, but like that's not giving Nate.
No.
I feel like Nate would not let himself look like that.
I no, I don't hate it. I just would I think it's just a no.
Then go back.
I don't know. Oh Lord. Something else we need to chat about. We didn't get a chance to talk about it last week because we filmed the episode before this happened. But Dancing with the Stars came to a dramatic finale last Tuesday night, and it was a 3 hour season finale. I was working, so I came home and watched all 3 hours of it. It was great. I did not want spoilers, so I had to commit. Um, so this was the end of season 33, which is hard to believe because I've been watching this since I was a kid. We talked about Dancing with the Stars earlier on the podcast in this season. We both weren't watching it, but I did start watching it basically after we talked about it live on TV as it was happening. And I was definitely rooting for Chandler and Brandon. I love Chandler. I know there's so much discourse for people about like bringing people on who already have dancing experience. But guys, we've had Charlie D'Amelio, who won. We had JoJo Siwa, who was runner-up on her season. Chandler did not nearly have as much dance experience as those two, and everyone accepted it. Like, so I'm not sure why so much hate was targeted towards that experience for Chandler. But anyhow, we're going to talk about a little bit about spoilers here. So if you haven't watched it, somehow if you've managed to keep out of spoilers, maybe don't listen to the next few minutes. But I was really rooting for them. And then they came third. What the heck?
I was really surprised considering Alona had been so low in the rankings every single week, and then all of a sudden she was second.
Okay, I love Lona. Like her
Oh, I
personality
love her.
top tier. I love her TikToks. Her personality on the show is amazing. Obviously, she's an incredible rugby player, but truly based and she had so much improvement. Like that's definitely undeniable. She had so much improvement. But like for me, and I get that that's part of the show, like watching people improve and become better dancers. But for me, Chandler was on top of the leaderboard basically almost every single week since the start, basically almost. And Joey also had a ton of improvement. I agree with that too. Like he was close to the top every week as well. But again, you could see improvement with everybody. Even Chandler had improvement over the weeks that you could see. And I definitely think those two deserve to be in the top two. I was expecting Alona to come third because I was not expecting her to be any lower than that for sure, her and Alan. But I was just taken by surprise when Chandler got third and Alona got second. I would love to know how much bearing at that point the fan vote has on it because obviously a significant amount because even though Alona was doing so great, she obviously like she was not getting the scores that um Chandler or even Joey were really getting. They were getting close, definitely towards the end. They had higher scores for sure. But I would just love to know how much weight is put on that because obviously Lona has a huge fan base, and that really helped her in the end, of course. And so I just find that very interesting. I was surprised, but I wasn't surprised because I knew that her fan base was going to have a huge bearing on the outcome because she is so loved as she should be. But I do love all of their final dances. Of course, everyone loves Stephen and Riley's freestyle. It was just so good. I think a lot of people loved it. I've read a few things where people didn't love how much gymnastics were incorporated into it. But hey, I thought she did a fantastic job. There was still tons of dancing in that dance. And she used a good job of like incorporating the beam. I thought there was like a bit of dance. Like she jumped over it and did like a little move. Obviously, Riley's not a gymnast. So I thought that was really smart of her. And then, of course, we had Danny and Whitney. They came fifth. Sorry, Stephen and Riley came fourth. Danny and Whitney came fifth. I have to say, I did love their Barbie and Ken dance. I know a lot of people just kind of thought Danny just didn't really dance that much. And compared to the other dances, he definitely didn't dance as much as some of the other people did, but I still thought he did great because that's kind of what we've seen from him all season, and you definitely can see the passion for him in this. He always really wanted to make Whitney proud, which I think really came through. I loved his little banter with Julianne Hough at the end of their performance when they went and got up their scores. So basically, they had like Ken's bedroom set up where they go and get their scores at the end. And Julianne Hough, she used to be on Dancing with the Stars. She's a phenomenal dancer. She's now one of the hosts. And they had this little banter. And he was like, I think the question, Julianne, is why are you on my bed? And she goes, is that an invitation? And Whitney was like, whoa, I need to get out of here. And I think the internet really loved that. Everyone's like, "Oh, Danny's personality finally came through in the last 10 minutes." There was so much to talk about from that episode, and I thought it was just so funny. Joey and Jenna are definitely so deserving of the mirror ball. I was just personally rooting for Chandler, but though they did incredible as well, and I was happy to see Joey take it too because I assumed it was between one of the two of them. So there we are.
Yeah, honestly, so well deserved for Joey. And again, I thought it was going to be either him or Chandler. So Alona being in there was kind of threw me off, but like also well deserved. She's an icon, she's the moment. But I love her reaction where she basically just like passes out and Alan catches her without even looking at her. Like, tell me they're not the best duo.
I love them. I I think it's funny that the internet like kind of wants to the internet's obviously just shipping them together, but I think they just have that like platonic friendship. Maybe I'm wrong, but they have that like awesome platonic friendship that comes through so evidently, and I think it's so cute.
And I'm excited to see if things do pan out for Lona because obviously Joey was joking around that she should be the next bachelorette. And I'm here for it. I want to see it. I want to see her. I want to see more of her. So
Did you see the clip from Good Morning America the day after the finale when they were
I
talking about it, and Aloda's like, okay, if I do this, this is my list of rules. Basically, she needs to be a producer. And it's kind of funny because everyone on the internet too was also like, you could look at Joey's face, and Joey was kind of like, and then when she was talking about being like a producer, he's like,
Yeah.
good choice.
She's like, if I'm doing this, it's on my terms. And you
And
know
as
what?
it should be.
It
I love
should
that
be.
for her.
Yeah, girl power. But yeah.
Yeah. So that was all that. Obviously, that was last week, so kind of old news. So we just wanted to talk about it though, because I wanted to talk about it a lot because so much to say. Moving in to what we're watching this week, Gracie, what was your watch of the week?
I feel like I didn't have much time to watch anything this week, but I did get to watch From the new season. I know I said this before as my watch of the week, like a few weeks back, but that was only when the first few episodes were out. Now we have more episodes out, so I've been catching up on it, and I'm obsessed with this show. Anyone who knows me knows that this is like my first recommendation when people ask me what show to watch. Um, it's a great mix of thriller, mind-bending, makes you question everything, and it's also just so dramatic and it hooks you to these characters because everybody in this show is basically super likable or they kind of annoy you to the point where you just want to see what happens to them. And it's so clever. It just got renewed for another season. So I'm so grateful it won't be ending on a cliffhanger that never gets answered. Um, but yeah, From it's honestly so amazing. Cannot say enough good things about this. How about you, Nicole? What was your watch of the week?
Okay, my watch of the week. I last night watched Sidelined, The QB and Me, which so this is a new movie on Tubi. It is based off of a Wattpad novel of the same name. It stars Sienna Agudong and it was Noah Beck's feature starring role debut. And Drew Ray Tanner is also in it, as well as James Vanderbeek. Listen, I okay, guys, I don't think necessarily there's like super duper high expectations for this movie. So I didn't watch it like wanting it to be a five-star movie. I was watching this because I thought it was just going to be a fun little watch based off a Wattpad novel, kind of gave like slight after vibes, but then also I it reminds me of a movie and I can't remember what it's been bothering me all day. I can't think of what movie it is, but it just reminds me of like the kind of after-esque movies. I didn't even hate it. Like I gave it a 2.5 star on Letterboxd, but that's simply because I couldn't get past some of the writing. Some of the writing was just too cringy. I think a lot of people online are saying the performances from Sienna and Noah aren't even that bad. And you know what? They aren't. Both of them did a really good job. Sienna we've seen in No Good Nick, I believe. She's been in tons of other things as well. And her and Noah Beck seemed to have great chemistry in the movie. It was believable in that sense between the two of them. It was just the writing for me that kind of threw it off a little bit, like how they even like spoke to each other, what the lines were. Sometimes I was like, this doesn't realistically seem like how two people would talk to each other in high school, just thinking back to when I was in high school. So some of that just didn't it set it off course a little bit for me as I was watching it, but the performances were great to watch. I enjoyed seeing Noah Beck's performance in this, and like I wasn't sure how to think about it going into it because we've talked about this movie on the podcast before when it was first announced, and we were a little skeptical. But you know what? Honestly, I think his acting skills are there. I think with like if he consistently sticks to this, he can definitely grow as an actor, which I think is very exciting to see because I think a lot of people that get their fame first on like TikTok, social media, go into these things, like maybe music or movies, and they don't always necessarily have that like natural ability that you can see immediately. But you know what? I think Noah Beck was pretty charming in this. So I think he played the role perfectly. And I'm excited to see what he takes on next. If it's a role that's again like this, if he tries a different type of role, I think all of that's very exciting. But this movie, if you want to watch it for yourself, is on Tubi now. You can stream it there for free. It's just a fun little mindless kind of cutesy Wattpaddy movie. And that's my review of it.
Love. Yeah, I've been debating watching it. I just haven't had the time, but it is on my watch list. And honestly, talking to Nicole while she watched it last night was hilarious. Um, so I'm excited to end up watching it eventually. But moving on from that, what was your song of the week, Nicole?
My song of the week is one that I feel like I can't escape on TikTok. It came out earlier this year on May 30th, but Messy by Lola Young. I kept hearing it constantly, constantly, constantly all over TikTok. Then I went and actually listened to the song and I love it. It's been on repeat all week for me. But yeah, that's my song of the week. What is yours, Gracie?
Mine is okay. Hello, Miss Johnson by Jack Harlow is literally, it's been on repeat every time I go in the car. This song is playing, and it's just such a good vibe. It's so different than what we've heard from him before, yet still the same in a sense. Um, he is very in love in this. So I'm curious to know who the girl is because he also released a music video. It was shot mostly on a Ring camera, which is very cool. But he's in love. And I feel like someone has to check on Emma Chamberlain because I was really hoping for them to get together. But on that note, speaking of Jack Harlow, these clips of him have been going viral on TikTok. I don't know what he was doing, but he was singing, not rapping, singing like these soulful songs in a black tux with an orchestra. And everybody's like, oh my God, Jack Harlow can sing. And like, he can sing.
I say, would it be a sin for I can't help falling in love with you?
So I'm just swooning over this man. I mean, I've always been swooning over him, but hearing him sing and hearing him write songs about being in love has really got me kicking my feet and giggling. So I'm here for the Jack Harlow renaissance that we're having.
I love this new like little chapter that we're getting from him because like there's always been a little bit of love in some of his songs, but obviously they had more of, like a rap vibe to them, obviously.
hmm
And like you said about the ones on TikTok when he I don't know what that performance was, but he was singing like Elvis. Man,
Literally stunning.
killing it. It was so good.
I was like, the way I would pay if he just did a concert with an orchestra singing, like I would be there. I need that to be his next tour. And then we can do another tour for all the rap and stuff.
So yeah, that is our watch and songs of the week. So lots of fun stuff to be seen in the media right now, to be watching and listening. But let's move into our last segment of the show. What are the upcoming releases for this week?
Yeah, so starting off December 5th, we have Black Doves, which is a new series on Netflix.
I'm actually really excited to see this projects because Keira Knightley is the star in it. She's been in so many interviews recently, and I didn't really click in my head to look up what movie she was coming out in because I guess I didn't realize that there was a reason I was seeing 8 million interviews with her this week. But lots of talk about Pirates of the Caribbean specifically in all those interviews. So I thought it was very interesting what she was saying, what people thought about what she was saying. But yes, she is a star in this upcoming. It is a British spy thriller. So very exciting to see what she brings to the table with that one. But next up, also going on Netflix today on December 5th, we have Gentry Chow versus the Underworld series. So that will be hitting Netflix as well today.
Yeah, and then December 6th, we have Trailer Park Boys presents Standing on the Shoulders of Kitties, which is having a theatrical release. Honestly, didn't even know this was a thing until Nicole found it on Google. So if you're a fan of Trailer Park Boys, you're getting content.
You can head to the theater tomorrow and you can do a double header because Interstellar is back in the theaters tomorrow for the 10th anniversary IMAX experience screening in 70 millimeter film. So very exciting. That hits theaters again for a select few days starting tomorrow on December 6th.
Moving into one that has been long awaited for Nicole and I, A Nonsense Christmas with Sabrina Carpenter. Her new special for Christmas is coming out December 6th on Netflix. Obviously, this is going to feature some of her original songs, some classics. Some of her friends are making cameos too. So I'm excited to see what she has up her sleeve. She's just so iconic.
I'm very excited to see what this is all about because I think it's going to be amazing. Her Christmas songs, and especially A Nonsense Christmas, has been in my Christmas playlist just on a rotation all week. Also hitting Netflix tomorrow on December 6th is Camp Crashers. It is a new movie. Lots of Netflix stuff this week. Netflix is just rolling in the new releases.
I mean, moving over to Prime Video after saying that Netflix has a lot, this Sticky is a limited series that's premiering on Prime Video December 6th.
If you're looking for a good Canadian show, The Sticky is where it is at. I believe it's like a crime show that's set
Hmm.
in Canada. So I think that's really funny.
Go Canadians, go.
But last but not least in the slightest is the Dream Productions series hitting Disney Plus on December 11th. That is next Wednesday. This is like the little series. It's kind of like a mockumentary style series that they're doing based on the Dream Workers and Inside Out. So I'm very excited to see them explore this little new parts of the Inside Out world that we don't usually see them starring in themselves. So I'm very excited to see what they bring with this little series because Inside Out 2 did so well this year. Very excited to see them continuing off of that trend and seeing what they can do with this little series. Well, that is all we have for you today. So if you're still here with us, thank you so, so much for sticking around. That concludes this week's episode of As Seen on Screen. I'm Nicole.
I'm Gracie, and you can watch or listen to us wherever you get your podcasts on Spotify or YouTube.
We'll be back next week at the same time, so we'll see you then. Bye.